The goblins had breached the inner halls. In the supply closet, Kale cowered behind a crate, his heart hammering against his ribs.
Don't open the door, please. Not yet.
The door splintered. A massive goblin chieftain dragged Kale out by the collar and drove a rusted blade through his chest. Rain washed over him as he crawled across the cobblestones, blood pooling beneath his trembling fingers. In the mud, something cold pulsed with a sickly violet light, a fruit as black as a grave. He bit down. Death exploded through his veins, and the world went dark. His eyes snapped open, glowing violet. But his heart did not beat. Nearby, the armored fingers of a fallen knight twitched in the rain. Sir Varen, a skeleton knight in rusted armor, rose from the mud, rusted sword in hand, its eye socket burning with violet flame. More knights clawed up from the stone, their dead eyes locked onto the goblins, awaiting Kale's silent command. Without a spoken order, the dead fell upon the goblins. Steel carved flesh, and the courtyard filled with the shrieks of the dying. Grom, the chieftain, raised his axe to rally his horde. Sir Varen's blade split him from shoulder to hip before the roar left his throat.
My chest. There's nothing. No pain, no heartbeat. I should be dead. But the dead, they listen to me.
The Academy's remaining cadets crept out from the rubble. Commander Aldrich pushed to the front, his sword already drawn.
Kale, what sorcery is this? Release these abominations now.
Commander, wait. He saved us. The goblins would have killed everyone.
They see a monster. Perhaps they are right.
The last goblins fled into the storm, but no one lowered their guard. Kale felt the weight of a dozen terrified gazes. He had an army of the dead, and he had never been more alone. Kale raised a trembling hand, and the undead knights stopped mid-stride, their weapons held motionless.
You expect me to believe you can control them? One slip, and every one of us ends up dead.
Kale met his glare without blinking. Lyra pushed between them, her hands raised.
Commander, please. He's not our enemy. I've known Kale for years. He wouldn't hurt us.
You don't know what I am now. Neither do I.
Aldrich's sword lowered an inch. The tension held like a drawn bow.
All right, but if those things so much as twitch the wrong way, I'll put you down myself, and I won't hesitate.
Before anyone could answer, a deep drum roll echoed from beyond the broken gate. The goblins were regrouping, their war cries swelling.
The horde isn't finished, and we're still trapped.
The Academy had survived the first wave, but the night was far from over, and the dead outnumbered the living. Kale extended a trembling hand. Violet light bled from his fingers into the nearest goblin corpse. It twitched, then rose, eyeless and silent. More followed, a tide of dead flesh answering his call. The survivors recoiled, pressing against the Academy walls. Aldrich stepped forward, blade half raised.
By the gods, Kale, have you lost all reason? Those are our enemies.
Every corpse is a soldier now. I don't have the luxury of regret.
The undead goblins formed a ragged line at the shattered gate, bodies packed tight in the breach.
This is wrong, but it might be the only way we survive the night.
Kale didn't answer. His focus narrowed to the gate, a cold numbness spreading through his chest.
Fine, use them. But when this is over, I want answers, and I want you gone.
The Academy stood, defended by the dead. No one cheered. Lyra found him standing apart, his back to the survivors, rain streaming down his rigid shoulders.
Kale, I know you are still in there. Talk to me, please.
There are whispers, voices that aren't mine. I feel cold, Lyra, so cold.
In the depths of his mind, a black fruit pulsed, its sweet promise drowning out reason. Beyond the storm, a goblin horn wailed. A new figure strode through the camp. Nock, the shaman. He slammed his bone staff into the mud, and a ring of green fire erupted around him. The shaman began to chant, ancient words that made the air thicken and the dead shudder.
Hear me, spirits of the slain. Rise and serve, or writhe in eternal torment.
A sickly light bled from the circle, crawling across the fallen goblins like a grasping hand. The corpses twitched, then, with a unified groan, the goblin dead began to claw their way upright, eyes blazing green. Kale felt it first, a sickening pull in his chest, as if the dead themselves recoiled. The goblin camp now held its own army of corpses. Nock raised his staff, and the green-eyed dead lurched forward, a shambling wave crashing toward the broken gate.
By the gods, another horde. Kale, your corpses better hold, or we're all dead.
Sir Varen stepped into the breach, his rusted blade cleaving two of the shambling dead in one sweep. But more poured through. Kale's knights fought with discipline, but the enemy dead felt no pain, no fear. They piled against the defenders, mindless and relentless.
There are too many. I need more. I need to raise everything.
A goblin corpse latched onto Sir Varen's leg, dragging him down. More swarmed, ripping at his ancient armor.
Kale, you can't hold them all. We need to fall back to the inner hall.
The gate line buckled. Kale's undead goblins fell to Nock's magic, their violet eyes flickering out. The shaman's laughter echoed across the stones. 4, every dead goblin Kale reclaimed. 3 more rose against him. The tide was turning, and he was losing control. A goblin blade slashed across Kale's side. No blood spilled, only darkness, swirling like smoke from the wound.
It's not blood. This is the fruit's power leaking out. I am breaking apart.
The fruit pulsed, and Kale's mind was dragged deep inside himself. He stood in a vast necropolis, bones stretching to the horizon. Before him, the fruit hung like a black heart, its voice an ancient tremor that shook his soul. Become one with me. Claim the throne of the dead, and you will never be weak again.
I've heard this whisper before. It wants to take everything I am.
He wrenched his mind away, the vision shattering like glass. The battle roared back into his senses.
I refuse. I'll find another way to win without losing myself.
The fruit's whispers coiled tighter, promising victory with every labored breath. But Kale held firm. His undead faltered, but he pushed them forward. The cost of refusal was high, but the cost of acceptance was eternal.
This is your doing. Unleash that cursed power before we're all dragged to hell.
If I give in, there won't be a Kale left to save. Just another monster.
There has to be a way. Kale, can't you lend your knight's strength without becoming the fruit's puppet?
Just a thread of power. Enough to turn the tide. But the whispers, they'll grow louder.
He closed his eyes, reaching not for the fruit's heart, but for its surface. A trickle of necromancy, not the flood. Dark energy rippled outward from his wound, snaking through the mud to coil around his knights. Sir Varen and the others straightened, their blades humming with renewed power, violet flames dancing along the edges. But Kale's eyes blazed brighter, and he felt the fruit's grip tighten around his mind. The tide reversed. The undead goblins crumbled before the enhanced knights, Noak's line buckling. Aldrich gave a grudging nod, but Kale stood motionless, the cost already carving deeper into his soul. Nock's voice cracked the earth. Massive undead abominations dragged themselves from the fissure, stitched from a dozen corpses. They crashed into Kale's knights. Sir Varen was hurled aside, his ancient armor splintering.
Kale, you are tearing yourself apart. Release the power before it consumes you completely.
Black tears streaked Kale's face. The fruit's whispers had become deafening screams.
I can still fight. Just a little more. I won't let them die.
Nock raised his staff, green lightning coiling at its tip. The final spell was taking shape. Kale's vision blurred. He saw Lyra's terrified eyes, Aldrich's desperate stand, Sir Varen struggling to rise.
If I fall, everyone dies. If I keep going, I may never return.
He thrust his hand forward, channeling every shred of power. The act tore at his soul. The Academy's defenders braced. Kale stood alone, a flickering violet wall between the living and the void. The fruit's grip tightened, dragging Kale's mind back into the necropolis. This time, the bones receded, revealing a throne of skulls. I am the heart of the Dread King, sealed away centuries ago. You are my vessel, unless you bind me to your will. I will consume you and turn you into a mindless puppet, just as I did to him. A vision flashed, a necromancer in dark armor, his eyes empty, the fruit's voice his only guide, until he became a husk.
I have to bind it, but with what purpose? Protecting the Academy. That's all I have.
Before he could act, green lightning struck beside him. Noak materialized, his staff crackling with death.
That power belongs to me. I will tear it from your corpse.
The shaman's spell enveloped Kale, searing his flesh and pulling at the fruit's essence.
There's no time. I have to bind it now, or lose everything.
Kale's soul latched onto the fruit, binding it with a single desperate oath to protect those within these walls. The binding blazed across Kale's skin. Dark energy swirled, and his left arm shed its flesh, revealing bone wrapped in necrotic armor.
The whispers, they're quieter. I'm still me. Just more.
Kale, your arm. What have you done?
I bound the fruit to a purpose. This is the cost, a piece of my body for control. But now I have real power, power to protect them.
Violet energy cascaded from his skeletal hand, flooding into the fallen knights. Their bones mended, armor reforged in shadow. Sir Varen rose, his form now wreathed in violet flame, his sword a shard of pure night. The dead kneeled to their new commander.
Impossible. You tamed that cursed heart. No matter, I'll crush you both.
No more running. This ends now.
The battlefield shifted. What was once a losing war now stood on the edge of a knife, with Kale's legion reborn. From the mud, Kale called forth spectral warriors, phantasms of fallen knights, their forms wreathed in violet mist. The spectral legion crashed into Nox's abominations, blades of light severing rotten flesh. The goblin dead faltered.
Push them back, for the Academy.
Noak's eyes flared with green fury. He drove his staff into the ground and screamed an incantation that shook the stones.
If I cannot have the fruit's power, I will bury it beneath this rubble.
A column of green lightning struck the Academy's outer wall. Stone shattered, and a section collapsed inward, sending cadets scrambling.
Brute force won't stop him. I have to cut the head off the snake.
He strode to Aldrich, his voice carrying a chill that was not the rain's.
Go. I'll hold the line with what's left. Don't you dare die before you finish him.
With his spectral legion guarding the breach, Kale walked toward the shaman, the rain turning to steam against his necrotic arm. Kale and Nock faced each other across the rain-soaked stones, violet and green light crackling in the charged air.
Foolish boy. Every spell you cast, every dead you raise, I have been drinking that power from afar.
He's been siphoning the fruit's essence all along. That's why my binding felt unstable.
Noak's staff struck the ground. A shockwave of green energy hurled Kale backward, and the necrotic armor on his arm flickered.
The binding, it's breaking. I can feel it slipping away.
Your paltry pact cannot hold. I will strip the fruit from your corpse and remake the dead in my image.
Kale tried to rise, but his skeletal arm gave way, and a wave of dizziness drowned him. Dark mist bled from the wound in his side. You cannot win like this. Embrace me fully, or you will die here, and all your precious Academy with you.
If I give in, I become the Dread King. If I don't, everyone dies. There is no escape.
The shaman raised his staff for the final blow. Kale lay broken, the fruit's promise thundering in his mind, a choice hanging by a thread. A desperate cry cut through the chaos. Lyra, at the wall's edge, her voice raw with terror and hope.
Kale, you are not the fruit. You are stronger than its whispers. Trust yourself.
Her voice, it cuts through the darkness. But trust alone won't save them.
He glimpsed the Academy's last defenders, Aldrich dueling two abominations, Sir Varen's fire dying. They were losing.
I can't let them die. If my humanity is the price, then so be it.
He reached within, past the partial binding, and seized the fruit's core, no longer resisting, but commanding.
I accept, but for their sake, not mine. I swear it.
The fruit answered with a deafening roar. Violet fire consumed him, and the pact was sealed. Nock's staff halted mid-swing. Kale's body arched, necrotic armor crawling over his flesh like living shadow. The last traces of Kale's mortal warmth vanished. He was no longer a boy with a necromancy fruit. He was its master and its prisoner. A crown of violet flame settled upon his brow, and a scythe of fused bone and shadow coalesced in his grip. He raised the scythe, and a silent shockwave rolled outward, sinking through stone and soil into the catacombs below. Ancient skeletons in armor, from a forgotten age, clawed their way from their tombs, eyes igniting with violet fire. Hundreds of long-dead warriors answered, their bones clattering as they fell into formation behind their new king.
What? What is this? No mortal should command such power.
Kale did not answer. His eyes, twin violet stars, stared through Nock as if the shaman were already a corpse. With a sweep of his scythe, he hurled the legion forward, a wave of bone and rusted steel. The enemy abominations crumbled before the relentless assault, their rotted flesh no match for the fury of the ancient dead.
This cannot be. I have sacrificed too much. I will not be undone.
Amid the carnage, Kale stood motionless, the undead king, ruler of a kingdom built on sacrifice and oath. Kale's scythe fell forward, and the legion of the dead surged like a violet tide. Goblins were trampled beneath ancient bones, their shrieks drowned by the thunder of 1,000 marching feet. Nock turned to flee, but the shadows around him solidified into grasping hands. The scythe's curve hooked his staff and ripped it away. The bone blade phased through the shaman's chest, and a torrent of green light bled out. Nock's life force, the stolen essence of the fruit, poured back into Kale. Nock's body crumbled to dust, his final scream swallowed by the storm. The shaman was no more. Without their master, the goblin undead collapsed. Panic spread through the living goblins, and they scattered into the night. The siege was broken. The Academy survivors crept from their hiding places, staring at the field of corpses and the lone figure standing at its center.
He saved us, but at what cost? Look at him.
A necessary evil. The boy we knew is gone. What remains, I do not know.
Kale did not turn. He simply lowered his scythe, the violet flame in his eyes, the only warmth left in him. The Academy had won, but its savior was now its prisoner, a king of the dead, bound to a throne he never sought. Finally, Kale turned. The undead parted before him, and the survivors flinched, but he did not raise his scythe.
You saved us. I never thought I'd say this to a dead man, but the Academy owes you its life.
Kale, thank you. We wouldn't be standing here without you. Please, stay with us.
I cannot. This power, it's not a gift. I feel it eating away what little humanity I have left. If I stay, I'll become a threat worse than any goblin horde. I must leave before I hurt those I swore to protect.
No, there has to be another way. You don't have to face this alone. We'll find a cure.
There is no cure for being dead, Lyra. The fruit is bound to me now. This is my burden alone.
The legion reformed behind him, a silent army awaiting their king. The rain began to lighten. Dawn not far off.
Live, rebuild. And if you ever see the violet flame on the horizon, know that I am still watching over you.
And so Kale, the Academy's weakest, walked into legend. Never again a man, but always a guardian. Kale passed through the shattered gate, his legion a river of bone and rust at his back. He did not look behind.
Kale, wait, please, don't leave like this. We can find a way to help you.
He halted, but did not turn. The rain had stopped, and the first light of dawn touched the broken stones.
If I stay, Dark forces will seek the fruit's power. They would destroy the academy to get to me. I won't let that happen.
Then let us help you fight them. You don't have to be alone.
I was always alone, Lyra. Now that solitude is my weapon. Don't follow. Rebuild and forget the monster.
Lyra sank to her knees, tears cutting channels through the grime on her face. Aldrich placed a hand on her shoulder. The heavy gate groaned shut, sealing the academy from the world, and from its undead king. Kale walked until the academy was a shadow on the horizon. Then he stopped, and the Legion knelt.
I am the undead king, and I will guard them from the shadows until the end of days.
Months passed, and the land whispered of a ghostly legion that appeared where innocence cried out. The undead Night King. Through dark forests and misty moors, Kale marched, his legion a silent swarm of bone and shadow, seeking those who needed a protector. They arrived at a village besieged by a hungry manticore, its spiked tail smashing through homes. Screams filled the air.
Legion, forward. Show no mercy to this beast.
The undead knights encircled the creature, rusted blades hacking at its hide. Sir Varen drove his sword through its throat. The manticore fell with a deafening roar. Kale raised his hand, and the beast's corpse rose again, its eyes now glowing violet. The villagers crept out, staring at the army of the dead that had saved them. Gratitude warred with terror on their faces. A child pointed at Kale and asked her mother if he was an angel. The mother pulled her back, whispering, "No, child. That is a king of the dead."
Even when I save, they see only the grave. But it does not matter. I am not here for their thanks.
Without a word, Kale turned away, his legion falling in behind him. The undead Night King had no kingdom, only an eternal vigil. A royal army tracked Kale's legion to a barren moor, their crimson banners snapping in the wind. The general, armored and grim, drew his sword and shouted for the undead king to surrender or be destroyed.
They see only a monster, but I will not become the tyrant they expect.
Instead of attacking, Kale stepped forward alone, his scythe lowered, and stood before the bristling army.
I am not your enemy. My legion exists only to defend the helpless. Stand down or face consequences you cannot fathom.
The general scanned the rows of silent undead, their violet eyes devoid of hunger, only waiting. He sheathed his sword, ordering his men to stand down. The army parted, and Kale's legion marched through without a single blow. Whispers spread among the soldiers. The undead king showed mercy where he could have slaughtered.
Mercy. A weapon more feared than any bone scythe. Maybe I am still human, after all.
Thus the undead king earned a grudging respect, his legend woven with threads of dread and a strange, cold hope. A lone figure stood on a grassy hill at dusk, his legion, a silent sea of bone behind him. The undead king watched the sun descend.
I will never feel the sun's warmth again, but at least I can watch it set over those I saved.
He placed his skeletal hand over his chest. No heartbeat, only the faint hum of ancient power.
This silence is my burden, but it is also my gift to guard them until the end of time.
On the academy ramparts, now rebuilt, Commander Lyra gazed toward the distant hills, where a violet star flickered at dusk.
He's still out there, watching over us. Thank you, Kale, for everything.
The undead king raised his scythe in silent salute to the horizon, then turned his back on the last light.
I chose this, and if given the chance, I would choose it again.
Lyra watched until the violet star vanished. Then she turned back to her duty, carrying his memory. The legend of Kale, the undead Night King, whispered through the ages, a guardian of the weak, a king of the lonely, forever marching into the twilight. Years later, in a crowded tavern, a wizened bard plucked his lute and began a tale that silenced the room. He sang of a boy who died on rain-soaked cobblestones, bitten by a goblin blade, and the black fruit that remade him. He sang of the fruit's dark gift, a heart of the Dread King, and the boy who became its master to save his home. He sang of the siege, the dead rising, and a king crowned in violet fire who turned the tide. He sang of exile, of an eternal vigil, and a kingdom of bone that guarded the weak from the shadows. The final chord faded. The tavern sat in silence, ale untouched, as the weight of the legend settled. Some called it a fable to scare children. Others whispered it was true, and that on quiet nights, you could still see violet flames on the horizon. And indeed, on some distant moor, the undead king still marched, his legion, an endless river of rust and bone. The fruit's violet glow burned forever in his chest, a reminder of the pact, power for humanity, forever. He was Kale, the weakest student, now the undead Night King, and his watch would never end.